whack draft. See that?
Yeah.
Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast. Happy Monday. I'm Jay Zawaski with Greg Boysen and Mario Tirabassi. It is Mailbag Monday, and we have a bursting sack o' mail. So we're going to get to those very, very quickly. Before we do, make sure you smash that like button for us on the YouTube page. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel as well. Podcasters, like, subscribe, review, follow, all that great stuff. Those 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts and Spotify are like gold. They take 15 seconds, and we would really appreciate it if you could leave us one of those if you've not already. All right, let's just get right to it. We got so many to get to. Probably going to have at least a day and a half worth. By the way, little programming note. Tomorrow at 2:30, we're going to talk to Chris Peters of Flow Hockey. He was at the World Junior Summer Showcase. He's got thoughts on the Blackhawks draft. It's been a while since we've caught up with Chris Peters, so all things prospect tomorrow at 2:30 with Chris Peters. So set a reminder for that show. Show starts at 2. Chris Peters joins us at 2:30. Yeah. All right, let's go.
If you're not already excited about the Blackhawks prospects, you will get even more excited after talking to Chris.
Exactly. Yes.
All righty, kicking it off here from the Discord diehard chat. Brad Beatty, did the Penguins get worse defensively with their trade?
So
starting with Erik Karlsson.
If you missed the trade,
yeah,
it's quite a doozy. Let me pull up the graphic here. In short, Erik Karlsson heads to the goes from the San Jose Sharks to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Third team involved is Montreal. Let me see if I can find the full trade here. It was
they lost Petrie, they lost Jan Ruda in the trade. They got Erik Karlsson back defensively. So are they worse keeping the puck from going in the net?
Yes.
Yes. However, they brought in Erik Karlsson, who helped 106 pucks go into the net last year.
Yeah.
Good luck getting them to do that 2 years in a row.
Oh, I know. But yes, they're definitely not as good defensively, but I think they're a better team.
Here's the full trade. Found it. So the Penguins receive Erik Karlsson from San Jose, Rem Pitlick from Montreal.
Worst name in hockey.
Dylan Hameliuk, not Hammerlick, but Hameliuk, also from the San Jose Sharks, and a 2026 third-round draft pick from the Sharks. The Sharks got the 2024 first-round pick from Pittsburgh, which is top 10 protected. They also got Michael Granlund from Pittsburgh, Jan Ruta from Pittsburgh, and Mike Hoffman to San Jose from Montreal. Montreal, being the third team in the trade, gets a 2025 second-round pick from Pittsburgh, the return of Jeff Petrie. They also get Casey DeSmith from Pittsburgh, the goaltender, and Nathan Legary from Pittsburgh as well.
Yeah, I mean
the Sharks definitely are doing what the Blackhawks did last year. They are going for the number 1 pick. There's no doubt about that. Thankfully, they're a year.
Granlund, Ruta, Hoffman, it's all middle range guys.
Guys are going to flip before the deadline.
Right, I without looking at their contract numbers. But, yeah, guys that you would imagine are not there for a long time. And you get a first-round pick, which I don't think Pittsburgh's going to fall in the top 10 unless they get some lottery luck.
Yeah, I think if I'm San Jose, I'm like, how bad do you want if you think Karlsson's the guy that puts you over the top, why are we doing this top 10 protected nonsense?
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, too, puts them over the top of what?
They're
not going to win a cup.
Their guy, the Athletic, Rob Rossi, who covers the Penguins for the Athletic, does a really good job. And some other people, too, are like, oh, this trade makes them a cup contender. No, it doesn't.
It does not.
On what planet does this make them a cup contender?
No.
This puts them back in the playoffs, probably. This doesn't. Erik Karlsson doesn't help them beat the Carolina Hurricanes in a 7-game series. He's not what they need to beat the New Jersey Devils in a 7-game series.
Well, look, and maybe you win a series or two, but are you going to win the Stanley Cup? And isn't that the goal?
Yeah.
Isn't that the ultimate goal to win the Stanley Cup?
This is what the offseason's been for the Penguins. This is Kyle Dubas, who had his hands tied in Toronto by all reports.
Kyle Hahn.
Couldn't do Rick Dubas. Couldn't do what he wanted to do. I mean, we sat here and ripped him to shreds for weeks when he didn't pull off a trade to get Marc-Andre Fleury from the Hawks last year.
Yeah.
Yep.
We didn't want to give up a first-round pick because the future is so bright when you haven't won a cup in 60 years. Now, as we learned, that was probably shot down.
And maybe that's why he was mad at Kyle Davidson for letting it out there.
Yeah.
Because he's like, hey, man, I had nothing to do. I wanted to give you a first-round pick, and they wouldn't let me.
So this is young Kyle Dubas for the first time in his GMing career getting the keys to the car, and he is taking it out for a joyride. I'm going to get everybody. We're still going to be kind of shitty, but at least I can make the moves. At least we're going to be shitty in the way I want it to be.
But here's the thing, though. If they're not going to allow you to move on from Crosby or Malkin or Letang,
well, he doesn't have that
well, then you
choice.
got to try something.
Right.
That's what I'm saying is like, okay, if those guys are here, you might as well try to see what you can make
Listen,
happen, and maybe you catch lightning in a
guys-
bottle. But
If those 4 guys have a renaissance season like Karlsson had last year, all at the same time, that's a pretty damn good team. I'm not betting on that happening.
The average age of their forwards group is 31 years old.
That's too many years.
Their average age of their defensive group is 29 years old.
That's not. Yeah, that's an old ass hockey team.
and when you look at the
Old team.
you look at beyond the stars, right? Crosby, Malkin, Rust, Raquel, Riley Smith, Jeff Carter, who is 38, Lars Eller, Noel Carey, Rem Pitlick, Drew O'Connor, Matt Nieto, Alex Nylander.
Yeah. Who's their youngest forward at 25?
Then you've got Karlsson, Letang, Ryan Graves, Marcus Pettersson, Pierre-Oliver Joseph, Chad Rudewell, Ty Smith, and in goal, Tristan Jarry and Alex Nedeljkovic.
Yeah, those guys aren't great either.
And you got
That's
Jake
tough.
Gensel on LTIR. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
I don't know when
not.
he's available, but he just went on LTIR, right?
Yeah, that's not a.
Just this
He's gonna be
offseason.
gone
That's
for a
not a
while.
contender by any stretch.
It's a playoff team.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe a second round team.
And they've
to
got
get a
no
few
cap
bounces.
space.
But that's not. They're not a Stanley Cup contender.
And this is why. So
And-
this
and
kind of
they're
goes.
gonna be stuck in
Yeah.
this same exact thing.
You're hoping that Erik Karlsson can be the Erik Karlsson that he was last year, which was an anomaly season. You're also hoping that at 36 years old, by the way, happy birthday, Sidney Crosby
Yeah.
is still going to be the elite top tier level player that he
He hasn't
can be.
had a 100-point season in 4 years.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily his game anymore. He's still pretty damn good two-way defensively, a guy who's going to put up 80 points. But you're also betting on Evgeny Malkin still being able to do that at 37 years old. And then you kind of piece together the rest of your forwards group. Yeah, I agree. I don't see a team that, especially in that division, is going to be feared. You know, they might be the 14 or 15 seed in the NHL and be a wild card team and get into the postseason, but I wouldn't pick them over any of the top teams in the East.
If you're a wild card team, you're going to play the Devils or the Hurricanes.
Devils, Hurricanes, or Lightning,
Yeah.
or Maple Leafs,
Toronto,
or
and you're not beating any of those teams. You're not beating 2 or 3 of them to get to the Stanley Cup final. You may pull off an upset and knock out one of those teams, but
Yeah.
you're not doing that 3 rounds in a row in the Eastern
Florida,
Conference.
Boston,
If the
Buffalo.
Penguins were in the West, I'd say okay, they can maybe
Yeah,
get to the conference
sure.
final,
Sure.
but not that Eastern Conference.
No.
I just don't see it happening. And whatever. I mean, they're kind of like it's like Kyle Dubas it's like a Scooby-Doo episode where they're going to take off his mask. It's actually going to be he who shall not be named. I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids. Like, they're just trying to stretch out this window, and we saw it here for so long. They got to get every ounce of energy, every last bit of juice out of the Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves fruit. And we had them here when they all had career years. And Alex DeBrincat had a career year in the same year. And they missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yup.
So have fun.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. You're getting all the kudos right now, Kyle Dubas. I just don't see that team doing much of anything after the playoffs.
Young Danglegod says, hate to admit it, but we all said the same about Florida when they barely squeaked in. You never know when the playoffs start. But the difference is Florida had a goalie who had been one of the best in the league before find his form in the playoffs again. You also had a team that for years was considered a cup contender and had some really strong seasons before that. Pittsburgh hasn't been the, quote, capital P Penguins for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they've been competitive and good for a long time, as you're going to be when you get players like Crosby and Malkin and Letang and They've done well with like guys like Rust and Gensel have kind of developed alongside those guys and kept them relevant. But in terms of the Penguins being cup contenders, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
And that Panthers team had a young superstar, Matthew Tkachuk, entering his prime, having one of the best playoff runs that franchise has seen any player have basically ever. And if you're talking about the Penguins going through an 82-game season, getting into the postseason and trying to go deep into the postseason, you're talking about a lot of guys with a lot of miles on their tires. That's tough to bank on.
The Panthers had Matthew Tkachuk announcing his presence to the rest of the hockey world, saying, I'm an elite player. He hasn't even entered the prime of his career yet, where the Penguins have of Evgeny Malkin, Sidney Crosby, Chris Letang, Erik Karlsson, all on the other side of 35. Big difference.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
All right, GVN2 fly hypothetical question. Could you foresee Kane returning to the Hawks at the end of his career? Similar to how Savvy did in 94. Much different situation, though. Savvy was 33 in his 15th season. I'd think Kane will be 36 or 37 before he's done, maybe even older than that.
Yeah. I
could be a fun story.
I could see it happening, but also...
What does it accomplish?
Yeah, right. I think.
What did bringing Dennis Savard back accomplish?
Well, it sold some tickets.
That's it.
Hawks won't be in need of that.
That's the thing is if in 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it is, where Patrick Kane says, you know what, I want one more lap around as a career, to end his career, and the Blackhawks could be, opening up their contention window and saying, well, we need every dollar we can to be contenders. I think if Patrick Kane's 38, 39 years old. He's had a surgery this offseason. Hopefully it helps. If he doesn't look like the old version of himself, then he's on borrowed time. And it might be a nice storyline. It might be fun to see Patrick Kane playing limited minutes alongside this youthful team. But would you rather have him, or would you rather have another of your budding stars, or a guy who's going to help push you over the hump at, I don't know. I just think by that time, every dollar is going to matter.
Yeah. And we have to get out of the mindset of doing things for the story or doing things for the nostalgia, because it doesn't help you win.
Hopefully the Hawks don't need a good PR story in 2026 or 27, whenever this hypothetical situation happens. You don't need a marketing ploy. You don't need...
You've got it. It's right there.
You've got a young team. You've got the 2009 Blackhawks about to make that jump. I mean, sure, you want to bring him in. He wants to come in for league minimum. It doesn't necessarily hurt you, but you don't need it. You don't need that feel good fuzzy story. Winning a Stanley Cup makes me feel a lot better than seeing Patrick Kane back.
He can come back. He can play whatever the minimum amount of regular season games it is to get your name on the cup, and then sit down for the postseason and have a front row seat as the kids get it done.
Yeah,
2028 or whatever it is.
Edward says, bring him back for a one-day contract so he can retire a Hawk. Yep, that's what you do. Do what you did with Hossa.
Sure.
Sign him, hang the banner, build a statue, whatever you want to do. But guys, start thinking like Kyle Davidson. Yeah. Tear away the nostalgia, tear away the warm fuzzies, and start thinking about what's going to get this team closest to winning a Stanley Cup. And is a 38-year-old Patrick Kane for a farewell lap going to be that piece? I don't know. It remains to be seen. We've always talked about Patrick Kane as the kind of guy who could probably play effectively till he's 40. So maybe at 38 or whatever, he's still effective and it makes some sense at a low cost. But I think let's just move on. Like, the next generation's here. Get excited about the next generation, because there is plenty to be excited about.
And I think, just to play devil's advocate for this thought process, I think the worries that we've all not worries, but the concerns that we've all expressed about the effect of having Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane stick around in the locker room for the long term, for the rebuild, for all the young kids, is, well, those new guys step in and it's Toews and Kane's locker room. Potentially that goes away in 3-4 years.
I agree with that.
Where Patrick Kane comes back, and yes, he's this all-time Blackhawk, but it's 3-4 years of Bedard being there, a couple years of Korchinski likely being there, and so on and so forth, of these guys coming up, where Patrick Kane's kind of stepping back, and he's like the old the frat brother that comes back, but it's everybody there is all new guys, and he's just having fun with his old color.
Trip McNeely.
Yeah. I just think it's in that realm. I don't think there would be any issues where it's just like, oh no, now Patrick Kane's here. Like,
no, I agree.
I think that would be gone.
Yeah, it would be gone. I mean, even Savard's second tenure. Not that he was. I mean, he's a great player, Hall of Famer, Hawks legend, yada yada. But he was not the level of player that Kane was, nor did he have the level of importance to the franchise in terms of Stanley Cups and Hearts and all those things. But even when he came back, it was in a diminished role, second, third line center, and he was just kind of one of the guys. But that was just such a classic Hawks move. That's such a Bill Wirtz move.
And that was like, what, 95, 96?
Yeah, probably right around there. Maybe a little bit later than that, but he comes in as a shadow of his former self. There were still flashes. He still had his moments.
Yeah.
But it was just saying, hey, look who's back. Come buy some tickets. Come see Denny Savard again.
Yeah.
It did nothing to help them win.
Nope.
Which is the Bill Wirtz way. Always has been.
Well, we can't leave the warm fuzzies behind because we have one more question about it. If you could clone one player from the last Dynasty course starting at age 18 to add to the prospect pool, who would it be?
Starting at 18?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, shit. That's Marion Hossa in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Or maybe Duncan Keith.
I go Duncan Keith.
Knowing where they're at defensively.
Yeah, it's Keith.
Duncan Keith.
Marion Hossa, having him for an entire career would be awesome. Duncan Keith doesn't get enough credit for how important he was to those three teams.
Yeah.
They don't win 3 Stanley Cups. They definitely don't win 2015 without him.
Nope.
Maybe they win 2013 without him. They may not win any Stanley Cups.
They don't win any without Keith. I say about Keith, he was so good that we never had to talk about him.
Yeah.
There was never like a post-game show I did on the Score or on Madhouse or wherever where we spent time talking about Duncan Keith because he was an assumption. You knew you were going to get 25 to 30 kick-ass minutes from him every night. Yeah, now and again there'd be a turnover. Fine. But that was as dependable of a hockey player as I've ever seen play in my entire life.
Oh, yeah.
Where you can count on number 2 every night to be great.
Yep. That's who I take.
Yep.
And I love me some Marion Hossa. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Taves, amazing player. You take one of those two guys off, you probably still win at least one cup with those teams. You don't win any without Duncan Keith.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
We might have to have a summer show, maybe a Throwback Thursday, where we just remember how great Duncan Keith was. Because I do feel like he has been a little bit undervalued by the fan base because of all the moments that Taves and Kane have had. And look, Keith had his own game-winning Stanley Cup clinching goal.
Mm-hmm.
But he's always was just, like I said, so dependable that he didn't even warrant conversation. Criminally, I don't want to say underrated, but maybe underappreciated.
Yeah.
In terms of great Hawks of all time. Duncan Keith, to me, is on the Hawks Mount Rushmore. He's the best defenseman in franchise history.
Yeah, I would have a hard time arguing against that. But yeah, I think because of how good he was, you're like, oh yeah, that's right. And he was an all-timer.
And an underrated fact of why we should love him even more. Out of all those players, he was definitely the most hated by Vancouver Canuck fans.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, you're right.
From It's Hockey Night in 2022, you acted as if a logo rebranding was inevitable. Seems as though that convo's dead and it's come and gone. Would you agree?
I think for now that conversation is dead. We can't reveal a ton. We've had some off the air, kind of off the record conversations that make me feel like the Hawks have done enough in the eyes of the natives that they deal with that it's not an issue for them, that the logo's not an issue.
Yeah, the conversation, quote unquote, comes and goes when I think majority is outside people from the Blackhawks decide to bring it up. I think that's when the conversation comes and goes. I think there's, like you said and alluded to, Jay, I think there's things that are being done, being discussed, being talked about that could see something down the road, but I think the inevitability of a rebranding, I don't know about a complete change to the logo, but a rebranding or reimagining or whatever, I think is something that is still going to happen at some point.
Yeah, maybe you got 100-year anniversary coming up.
It's a good time for a lot of
time
stuff.
to try something different. Not something completely new, but maybe something a little different.
Yeah.
We'll see. As you said, most of the pressure to change it is coming from people it doesn't really affect.
Right.
It's not a lot. There are some Native American groups that have spoken out about it, but the majority is not coming from that community. So that's
what it seems.
If the community it represents doesn't have a problem with it, then I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah. I've also heard, from Native American peoples that have expressed sort of if this logo goes away, does the interest in who Blackhawk was go away? I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if fear of erasure or something like that. Again, this is not an issue for me to really opine on. But I do feel like if the Hawks got some real pressure from Native American groups to change it, that they would, especially now assuming that Danny Wirtz is in charge. I think the whole thing is very fluid, but I think for the short term, 2-3 years down the road, I don't see the Native American logo going away. Changing, tweaking, adapting a little bit, perhaps, but I don't see it going completely away.
All right, from Joe, pizza lover and Bears fan, which Ice Hogs / under 24 players except Connor could make the team? Bonus question, favorite pizza topping?
I assume he means make the Blackhawks.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Players under 24 players. Okay. I think that's what he means. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, I think that's probably
I'll
right.
hit an under 24 and an ice hog. I'll go with Cole Gutman.
Lucas Reichel.
Oh,
I'm going out on a limb.
out on a limb.
So here, under 24, you've got Tepley, Colton Dock, Jalen Lipin, Samuel Savoy, who was not going to be in Rockford, Ryder Ralston, Antti Sorella, Gavin Hayes, no. Ludwinski, no. Reichel, yes. That's it for under 24. On defense, you've got Vlasic, Del Mastro, Crevier, Allen, and Korchinski.
Phillips, too.
And Phillips.
He's
And
not
Phillips, yes. Where is he? Is he on the Hawks roster?
He might be.
I'm looking at Cap Friendly. Yes, they have him on the Hawks roster,
okay.
so Phillips too.
Yeah, I mean, logically, Gutman's a good call.
Kaiser as well. Sorry.
Yeah,
Didn't say
but
that.
it's going to be one of those or two of those defensemen. Vlasic and Phillips are probably the guys with the best, or at least going to be given the most looks to earn this chance. I'm not saying they're shoo-ins, but those are the two guys that I think are going to, it's their jobs to lose. And then maybe Kaiser pushes one of them out. But I don't see much of like the young forwards really making an impact at the NHL this year outside of Lucas Reichel.
Right.
Cole
Right,
Gutman will probably get some time up here, either the start or eventually he'll be the first guy called up when there's an injury if he doesn't make the team out of camp. But like Colton Dock, I don't see him in the NHL this year. Lipin, I think Lipin could be an effective fourth liner at some point, but not this year. These are guys that need at least a full season in the AHL before we can start really considering them.
Speaking of Ice Hogs, news, Luke Philp had surgery to repair a right tendon, Achilles tendon issue, so he's out 6 months. If you hadn't seen that yet.
I always get a little miffed isn't the right word, but I'm always a little curious. Like, why do these guys wait till August? Like, I mean, do you try to maybe I don't need the surgery?
Yeah,
or
might
this
have been something that happened in a summer training. Yeah, who knows?
Like this happens a lot where you see a guy that like waits till September to get that core surgery.
Yeah,
and you're like, well, why didn't you do that right after the season?
From what I was actually listening to, I don't know what I heard it somewhere. It might have been CHGO Bears actually, that players like try to avoid surgery at all costs and do everything they can to not have it. But dude, if it was me, and it's like, well, if you go under the knife the day the season ends, you'll probably be ready for the next season and feel a lot better. Like, hell yeah, sign me up.
Right.
Yeah. Sign me up for that recovery.
Second the horn sounds on that last game, wheel my ass to the
Yeah,
hospital.
put me on a stretcher and take me to the hospital.
Do it right.
Don't drop me like Mike Modano. That video popped up the other day. You ever see that? When Mike Modano's getting stretchered. He's on the flatboard, and they try to lift him. Let's just drop him on the. He's fine. He's all right.
It's like that Simpsons episode of the gorge come true.
Yeah, right.
Joe also wanted to know favorite pizza topping before we go to the next question. Just a quick one.
I'm a simpleton. Just give me sausage.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
with
sausage, pepperoni. I'm a big fan of black olives on pizza.
you. Okay.
It's usually it's either black olives and pepperoni or black olives and sausage, depending on how salty we want it.
I'm as far as go-to one topping, pepperoni for sure.
Okay.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
How do you prefer pepperoni on a pizza? Do you like it where it's like a little thin sliced, or you like the thicker slices?
Oh, thin.
Or cubed?
Then.
I like the thin.
Oh, not cubed. Hell no.
I like the thin. I don't like them when they like get like kind of burnt on the edge and like raise up.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
That's more thicker.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. It gets too greasy.
I like the thin ones.
That's why I don't like pepperoni, because it is kind of greasy.
Bacon on pizza is good too.
Oh, bacon on everything's good.
Yeah, but yeah,
Really good.
the only time I like it cubed is on the a tombstone, because you get both cubed and the thin slices.
There you go.
That works.
Fair. It's also a good go-to, like if you're just trying a place, is sausage, green pepper, and onion.
Yeah.
It's like a good. You kind of get the vibe for how the place does everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good way to start. That's a good starting. We went to me and my buddy Mike, who actually is a festival booker. That is his job.
Ooh.
He lives in L.A. and he booked Lollapalooza.
Oh, nice.
He had a half hour to meet me on Friday, or Thursday. So we went to Pisano's on Madison, and that's what we got. We got the sausage, green pepper, onion. I think mushrooms are on there too, and it was great.
Solid.
Pisano's is an underrated Chicago pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's not
Madison, just west of Michigan. Good stuff.
That was the only Chicago pizza place they had in Milwaukee when I was in college. Was Pisano's. It was so good.
I don't know if it's the same. This is a This one is a Malnati's,
It's like the nephew
Rift,
of Lou.
right?
It's like the nephew of Lou
Spin-off.
Malnati was like given like permission to use like the basic
I'm
recipe
pretty sure
to
it's
make
the
his own.
same.
Yeah, because
I'm
there
fairly certain.
used to be one right by where I moved in Wilmette, but it's since closed.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I know
Right.
there is a Pisano's opening in Oklahoma, but I don't know if it's related. I hope so.
Yeah,
That'd be nice.
Hope so. It's good. It's really good pizza. Kind of already answered this one, Mike, the Blackhawks fan. Are you guys happy that they didn't get involved in the trade?
Oh, this is kind of a different question.
Little different, I guess. Yeah.
If you're gonna get,
If you would have gotten a second round pick to
Yeah.
take on Jeff Petrie, I mean, we talked about that a couple weeks ago. Yeah, sure. I
or
would have done
Granlund
that.
or whatever.
Yeah, I would have done that. I mean,
Yeah.
none of those guys have long-term deals that they fit your timeline. So if you get an extra second-round pick to take on a bad contract for 2 years, sure. But apparently they just either weren't involved in the deals. Maybe there's still some Kyle on Kyle hatred there. I don't know. Or maybe Kyle Davis has looked at his roster and said, you know what? Another high-priced veteran here, even though it's a bad contract. Just much like they thought with Josh Bailey, like they took the asset that came with taking that deal, but they looked at the roster and just said, it's not going to be fair to those guys, and they're going to push out some of our younger guys. So it just probably wasn't worth it.
Yeah, as far as future assets go, that Montreal got to be involved in the trade, the only thing was the 2025 second-round pick. Everything else was for the here and now. So, yeah, I mean, they could have been involved in it, but they didn't have to. It's not a travesty that they weren't.
Yeah. Granlund was a name that came up last year for the Hawks too a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If Pittsburgh was looking to move him, they were a place that would say, "Hey, give us a pick and we'll take him on."
Right.
But I think you could probably apply that to 80% of the guys that would kind of make that criteria of 1 year left, kind of expensive, not the player they're probably paid to be.
Any player like that, the rest of this offseason and leading up to the trade deadline next year or this upcoming year, any player like that is going to be connected to the Blackhawks because of the cap space that they have and the way that they're operating. Like, any player is going to be looked at like that for Chicago. But we'll see if it actually comes to fruition.
Alrighty. Well, seems like a good point to jump off, and we were talking about pizza a second ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good time to talk about more food.
Yeah, I'm down.
And, summer's busy. Everybody's got extra family time and all these plans. Maybe you go into music, you're going to concerts, you're going to sporting events. So if you're in the thick of summer and you're trying to eat right, you're trying to eat well, and you just don't have the time for your meal prep to stay on top of it, well, you need to give our pals over at Factor Meal Kits, America's amb1 ready-to-eat meal kit. Give them a call. Give them a look on their website. They can help you fuel up with fast, with flavorful and nutritious ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, you'll eat well, and you'll stay on track, reaching all your goals. Are you looking for calorie-conscious options this summer? Try delicious, dietitian-improved, calorie-smart meals with around or less than 550 calories per serving. You need an extra boost to support your wellness goals this summer? Try the Protein Plus meals with 30 grams of protein or more per serving. Factor offers delicious, flavor-packed options on the menu each week to fit a variety of lifestyles, from keto to calorie smart, vegan and veggie, and Protein Plus. Prepared by chefs and approved by dietitians, each meal has all the ingredients you will need to feel satisfied all day long while meeting your goals. And if you're looking to mix it up, you can add a protein to select vegan and veggie meals each week. Round out your meal and replenish your snack supply with an assortment of 45 plus add-ons, including breakfast items like their delicious apple cinnamon pancakes, bacon and cheddar egg bites, and potato, bacon, and egg breakfast skillet. That sounds delicious. Or for an easy wellness boost, try refreshing beverage options like cold-pressed juices, shakes, and smoothies. The smoothies are delicious. With Factor, you can rest assured you're making a sustainable choice. They offset 100% of their delivery emissions, source 100% renewable electricity for their production sites and offices, and feature sustainably sourced seafood in all the meals. And now you can get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered right to your door, ready in just 2 meals in just 2 minutes. No prep, no mess. Head to factormeals.com/CHGO Hawks 50 and you'll get 50% off. That's factormeals.com/CHGO Hawks 50. to save half off your first order at Factor Meals.
It's a great deal. And speaking of great deals, I stopped by Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary yesterday. I went to the one in Schaumburg. Very cool, very easy experience. Just went on the app, placed my order. It was good to go. Sunnyside is your home for the judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your summer. I also liked that they had a nice selection of munchies. They had like M&Ms, Doritos, like all the sort of stuff you need to supplement your cannabis purchase. It's awesome. Your one-stop shop for all your cannabis needs, no matter where you are in your cannabis journey. Easy online ordering and in-store pickup, and they've got that great loyalty program called Sunnyside Rewards. It is Illinois' favorite dispensary. Yesterday, I picked up the Black Cherry from Mindy's. That's the best tasting gummy and chocolate edibles created by James Beard award-winning chef Mindy Siegel and Cresco Labs. I also restocked my Counting Sheep Good News gummies because I was running low. I take half one of those every night, sleep like a baby. It's something I've never been able to sleep through the night my entire life. Now that I have found Counting Sheep, I sleep through the night every night. It's amazing. I feel so much better just in general, so much more energy. But other great brands like Cresco, FloraCal, Remedy, and many, many more. Through August, head to sunnyside.shop and use code CHGO25 at checkout for 25% off your total order. One use per customer, not stackable with other promotions. That's not only for new customers. Anyone can use that code. Pick up everything you need to elevate your summer. Must be 21 plus or an Illinois MedCard holder. And the beauty part of that is I got 2 of the Counting Sheep and 2 of the Mindy's. And when you add them to your card, it's like 20% off if you buy 2. But then when I went to check out, they're like, well, wait, you have a 25% off coupon. So they applied the bigger discount. They went in and manually adjusted it, saving me even more money. Nice. So the people at Sunnyside are great. They're looking out for you. And like it says, wherever you are in your cannabis journey, whether you're a pro or a rookie, they'll make you feel right at home, and so you know exactly what you're doing without any embarrassment or confusion. That's an important thing. All right, Kevin, what do we got next?
All right, let's get back to this couple questions in the chat about the title of today's show and Hall and Bedard, who's going to be the line mate with him. What are the odds the Hawks put Foligno, Perry, or maybe my dark horse pick, Savoy on the first line with Hall and Bedard. Some grit to retrieve pucks and let those guys work their magic. Might work wonders. Kind of like Anisimov with Panarin and Kane. That's from Alex Hagenbuck.
Sam was not making the
playing in
team.
NHL.
That's not going to happen. He's probably a year or two away yet.
At least.
No, I think Perry on that right wing makes a lot of sense. The speed thing would be a bit of a concern. Is he going to be able to keep up with Hall and Bedard? I mean, it's not going to be a 3-on-1 breakaway every shift, so it doesn't always have to work that way. But yeah, I think you'll see both those guys with Bedard and Hall at some point. The way I see it now, and we're not sure. I think we'll find out in the preseason. Do they think Reichel's a center or not?
Right.
Like day one of preseason or day one of training camp, if he's lined up in the middle, that changes things. But if he's not, you could see Bedard, Hall, Reichel as your top line.
Yeah. I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. I think if you're looking for someone who could play up to that speed, play up to that skill level, but also bring a bit of the defensive game to kind of round out that line's, triple threat ability, scoring pace and defense, I'd put Philip Kurashev up there. I think that also gives him an opportunity to go out and prove, what your game can be. Are you going to be just kind of a third line role guy, or are you going to be, able to play in the top six with two guys who are definitive top six NHL players? So that's who I would put. Kurashev.
I like that idea. That's all right. You've got your money. Now you have no excuse to not produce because you're with Bedard and Hall. Let's see what you can do.
Go and do it.
Yeah, I would want Kurashev as my number one choice for that line. If not him, Taylor Radish, because he gives you that size, and he's got a little more speed than Perry and Foligno.
Yeah.
I want to see guys that are going to matter beyond this season get a chance to play with those two guys. Kurashev, Radish, those are guys that are, are they going to be here after 2025 when this team is ready to compete? Maybe. Maybe not. This is the time to find out.
Yeah.
Nick Foligno's not. Corey Perry's not.
Right.
Sure, you can put him up there if you're playing matchups or if you're against a heavy team. You got the Blues or a team like that. The Predators play a heavy game. The Jets, they play a heavy game. When you're playing them, if you want to put a Perry on there just to kind of give a little more jam on that line, sure. But I want to see a guy that actually is part of this team beyond this season, beyond next season, get their shot. If Reichel and Bedard end up becoming a thing, sure. I mean, I want to give Reichel a shot at center for a bunch this season before we're making that. But I would move between Kurashev. I mean, we talked about pairings. Hall and Bedard are going to be a pair. I think Reichel at center with Athanasiou should be your other pair, your second line pair.
Yeah.
And then you could flip and flop Taylor Radish and Kurashev between those two lines and see which gives you the best chemistry.
Yeah.
Ryan Donato is a guy you could throw up there when
super
you need
versatile.
to. Tyler Johnson, you got options. So I think, you're going to see Hall and Bedard together for the majority of the season, and whoever's on the right side, you can rotate. And you can figure out who plays best or play the matchups. There's not a need to find a third guy for the whole season. You don't need it.
I mean, very few teams keep their. I mean, no teams. Let's be honest. Nobody keeps their lines together all year.
Right.
It just doesn't happen. But yeah, Kurashev makes a ton of sense. And then also, if he does show a little bit of, I don't know, knack to score, and he's doing it with that line, then move him off for a while and see what he can produce. Not on his own, but if you make him the featured player on a line, if that's the main guy to defend, I would love to see what Kurashev can do on his own. But I like that to start for sure, and I definitely want to see Reichel given a shot at center. I just feel like they've already made up their mind. If they're not gonna, if they didn't do it at the end of last year, and they put Athanasiou there.
I think maybe they wanted to just give Reichel an entire training camp at center.
Yeah, I mean, but he'd been doing it in Rockford, so it's not like it was completely foreign to him.
No,
yeah,
but doing it at the NHL level in games that didn't matter, maybe it was just an opportunity to say, you know what, come up here, focus on just getting acclimated to the NHL speed and everything like that, being able to have that experience without also having the added pressure of, now you're going to play center at the NHL level. Maybe that was part of the thought process too. And then, like Greg said, like start summer in down the middle, do training camp down the middle and see what pans out through the preseason.
I want to give him
go from there.
I want to give him at least 40 games at center this season. See where you're at.
Yeah.
If he struggles, let him try and fight his way out of it.
Right.
And if you get to, the new year and he's been just can't handle it, okay, move him to the wing.
Yeah.
99-cent super chat from Young Dangle God. Hear me out. Re-sign Kaner and put him with Hall and Bedard.
Thank you for the $1.
He's paying his
Appreciate
dollar.
it every
Yes.
show.
Appreciate it.
By the way, a couple people in the chat mentioning that Alex Stalock signed with the Ducks.
Yep.
Yes, he did. Congratulations. 1 year deal.
Good
Was
for
it
him.
$800K?
800,000
For
Automatically
Stalock?
becomes their best goalie.
That's great.
On
I'm
a-
happy
yeah,
to
good
see him
for him.
continuing
on a
to
one-way
play.
deal too. So
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
no thought, or at least right now, no thought that he'd be sent down at all.
It tells
so.
me that there's got to be something on the John Gibson front coming soon.
Yeah, because their other goaltender is Lucas Dostal, who's a young guy. So, yeah, I'd imagine that means there's some destination for Gibson that's
Yeah.
not Anaheim.
Right. I don't know who it will be, but I don't know.
Good
Maybe
for
they're-
Stalock, man. That dude was a spark plug this year. He was so fun to
He was
cover.
great.
He
He
was
was
so
great.
fun.
I
It was
love-
really good for him.
I became a
man.
huge fan.
Yeah.
We had
I really
super
liked
low
him.
expectations, and he exceeded them tenfold.
Well,
Yeah.
I have a family in Minnesota, and he goes to that beauty league every year. It's right down the street from his house, and Stalock's been playing in that for like 8 or 9 years, and
Oh,
he's been
nice.
raving about Alex Stalock for years. And when the Hawks signed him, he was like, "You're gonna love this guy. He's such a good dude." I was like, "Okay." And then first time we had a media opportunity with him, I was like, "Yeah, okay."
That's
He's-
yeah.
that's
know what he
that's a
means.
legit dude.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Good for him.
I'm really happy for
Yeah,
him.
I hope he has a lot of success out there.
Also, a couple of people asking about the return of the black jersey. I would count on it
Count on it.
at
Yep.
some point. I would say not this year, but once Fanatics takes over as a jersey supplier, I
Yeah.
think you'll see a black jersey,
Yep.
like their traditional black from the '90s jersey.
Yeah.
Those I
yeah,
love
yeah.
those.
That
I
would-
know some people
That'd
hate
be
them, but
wonderful.
I loved them at the time. I love them now. It's just and then go back to home whites.
That I wish
That's a whole nother
will never
issue.
happen. Oh well.
On the topic of free agents, clout collector, how likely is it the Hawks go after some big name free agents if they hit the open market next offseason?
Likely,
Very likely.
yes.
Yes.
All right.
Though
Probably one free agent.
Yeah, if
I
there's
wouldn't think that they're going to go out and try and splash and hit 3 of them or anything.
Yeah,
like that.
I don't think they're not gonna go out and get guys just because they can.
Yeah.
If there's guys that they have targeted that Kyle Davidson fits his vision, they'll go get it. If they don't make a big splash this summer, don't lose your lunch. Like I think 2025 is the summer they're really targeting to
Yeah.
take that next step. But we'll see how it goes. If Connor Bedard is everything we've expected and more and just blows the league away this year, there might be teams calling there might be some of these top free agents calling Kyle Davidson saying, "Hey,
Right, yeah.
can you fit me in? I want to play with this kid." So we'll see what happens.
They also have almost $30 million in money coming off the cap next year.
Yeah, they're gonna have
they're
to
gonna
spend
have
some
money to
cash.
It might
spend.
be more than one. It might be, look, I don't think Austin Matthews is going to reach free agency, but if he does, I think they'll make a shot at it.
Sure.
But if it's him, maybe not. But I could see them getting 2 or 3, like Domi level kind of guys.
Yeah.
$5 million-ish type players to fill some spots because you're losing Mrazek at 3.8, you're losing Tenorti at 1.25 maybe, Zaitsev at 4.5, you're losing Blackwell at 1.2.
Tyler Johnson.
Dickinson, 2.65. Corey Perry at 4. Foligno at 4. Tyler Johnson at 5. All that's coming off the books
Yeah.
this coming summer.
Yeah, they have to do somebody. Are they going to go with the big ticket guys? I don't know.
I see that's the concern, and
Don't blow all your salary
you
cap in
can't
one summer. And
because you're going to have to. Connor Bedard,
Yeah.
when he signs his next contract, it's going to be a giant contract.
Yeah.
It's going to be $13 million, something like
Yeah.
and
that.
Kyle Davidson knows this.
Yeah. So it might not be wise to go get Draisaitl or Matthews, as fun and tempting as it might be. What did the Hawks win when Kane and Taves had those $10.5 million contracts on the books? Nothing.
Right.
Absolutely nothing. So having two major contracts like that prohibits you from signing the depth you need to win.
That's why I hate the salary cap. Punishes you for drafting well.
Yes, it does.
Yep.
Sucks.
Yes, it does.
Needs to go away.
Punishes you for being good.
Or at least introduce a salary cap. Or luxury tax.
tax. Yeah.
Yep.
Just quick before we get to the next question, looks like it's Windy City Hockey's birthday.
Yeah.
I might be getting my Bedard jersey for my birthday today.
Happy
so.
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
Nice.
Windy
Happy
City.
birthday.
Guy was always in the chat. We
I
appreciate that.
think he's coming to the golf outing, I believe.
Yeah, he
Nice.
said
Cool.
he signed up. That'll be fun.
So, yeah.
From
Good stuff.
Ann Tokarski.
Friend of the show.
Hey.
This is not
Yeah, man,
a question, but I feel like you need to start making trade trees / where are they now for ex-Hawks involved in
Yeah.
blockbuster trades.
This is something that I've gone back and forth on doing because they are a lot of fun.
Yeah,
It's
a lot of
also a
work.
lot of research.
I've done a couple of those in the past in
Yeah.
other jobs, and they are a lot of fun. But yeah, it does a lot of work. Maybe we can tag team a few of them and
Yeah.
do those. They are a lot
Those
of fun.
would, you know what? Those would be fun, like videos to do. Like
Yeah.
we could do it for video and social content and YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Maybe we do something like that.
Yeah, well, it's a good question because isn't today the anniversary of the Dominic Hasek
It sure is.
trade?
Yeah.
Which a lot of
1992.
people will be like, "Hey, I can't believe the Hawks did it," but you got to remember at the time you also had Eddie Belfour,
Yeah.
who was
Yeah.
established.
Has-
And
Hasek
it
was
still
an-
took Hasek like 2 or 3 years in Buffalo to become.
Yeah,
the
Hasek was
Dominic Hasek
was
we
a
knew.
backup,
Yeah.
young. You didn't know he was going to go on and be
Yeah.
one of the all-time greatest
mean,
goalies ever.
And one of the draft picks they got out of that trade turned out to be Erik Karlsson, so it was a trade that helped both franchises.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, imagine trading
Hindsight
Belfour at that
2020.
point in his
Yeah.
career.
Right.
The other thing about Hasek to remember too is he is such an untraditional goalie in the way he plays. So it's hard to predict how that's going to pan out over the course of a career. Where Belfour was your standard butterfly style goalie, he had already had years of success. He is a Hall of Famer. He's a great player. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer, right? Belfour? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So of course you can look back and say, oh, they should have kept Hasek, sure. But at the time, it makes perfect sense to have kept Belfour.
And that was also back in the day where your number one guy was your number one guy. He played 75 games a year.
Right.
It wasn't today where even when you do have one of the elites, he only plays 60 games. I mean, if you had that today, I mean, you wouldn't have traded either one of them. You would have had
Yeah.
that as a tandem.
Right.
And good luck beating that tandem in a 7-game series.
In 1990-91, Eddie Belfour started 70 games.
Yeah, it wasn't like they traded Dominic Hasek. It wasn't like they traded Dominic Hasek so Jimmy Waite can get the net. Like they
Right.
had another Hall of Famer who was just coming off carrying that team to the Stanley Cup final.
That was as a rookie too. Belfour.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
From JR Kane 88, what game are you most excited to watch this year? The first one.
The first one.
Yeah, the first one.
After that, we'll see what happens.
First one, yeah.
The home opener is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yep. They, honestly, I know we've talked about it a little bit this summer, but compared to this point last year, I'm looking forward to all 82. Like I'm looking forward to this
It
season.
might change around
Well,
January, but
we'll see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching this team, covering this team, and talking about this team way more this upcoming year than it was last year. So
Yeah.
obviously the first one is going to be exciting. First home game is going to be great. Games against Detroit are going to be fun this year, I think, because I'd like to think the Blackhawks are going to be a little bit more competitive. I like to you got Alex DeBrincat there, like.
yeah.
I don't know. It'll be interesting. There's gonna be
I
a
want
lot
to see
of fun
Connor
games.
Bedard get a hat trick in Vancouver.
Oh, that would be great.
It'd be so good.
That'd be fun.
Be
That'd be good.
wonderful.
We got a comment in the chat. Sounds like something that should be a good show. Lawrence says, I think it'd be fun to do content of I was wrong about, like I said, Duncan Keith would never be a D-man. We could fill up a whole week of shit I've been wrong about.
The problem is we're never wrong about things,
I'm
so
wrong
that'd be
all
a
the
short
time.
I'm
show.
wrong frequently.
Yeah.
I'm already wrong for next year when I declared Lucas Reichel's going to lead the team in points.
Yeah.
Before the draft lottery, asterisk.
Yes.
Yeah, asterisk.
I'm also the guy that predicted Dominic Kubalik to lead this team in goals 2 years ago. And that,
I said, what did I say? Going into 2 seasons ago, I predicted Kirby Doc was going to have 65 points,
yeah.
and I
You
was
will
wrong.
eventually.
Yeah,
He's got 65
he's got
in his
at least
career.
that many in his career.
Yeah. Yeah, he's lost that many faceoffs in 2 days. Yeah, that'd be a good segment. I was wrong. Lord knows I've been wrong about a lot.
Kirby Dach has 97 career points.
It's not
Good
a
for
lot
him.
for a third overall pick. 4 years. 4 years in his career.
210 games, 33 goals, 64 assists.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well,
I'll
it's
take
only
Fra-
up from here.
I'll take.
Hopefully.
I'll take
for-
Frank
for
Nazar.
him.
I'll take
I'm rooting for him. I like the kid.
Yeah,
He's a good kid. I hope it works
I
out.
want him to succeed.
Yes, but I'll still take Frank Nazar.
From our boss, Kevin Kaduk, since actually we just got the suspension announcement, 6 games for Tim Anderson, 3 for Jose Ramirez,
6.
1 game for both managers.
So-
Six
so
games
for
for getting
Ramirez-
6
knocked
games for
though.
Tim
So
Anderson.
if it was Ramirez that got knocked out, would he have gotten the 6 games? Like whoever won the fight got
Yeah.
less games.
Less
Yeah.
penalized. Yeah, less penalized. In the spirit of Tim Anderson, name an NHL player picked a fight that he shouldn't have.
Oh, there's been lots.
been so
Kevin
many.
Westgarth. Remember when John Scott exploded that
Yeah.
dude's face?
Oh yes. I
Isn't
do.
Kevin Westgarth the Steelers coach's son-in-law? Not Bill Cowher. I believe he's Bill Cowher's
Is he?
son-in-law.
Really?
I think so.
That'd be quite the.
To the internet.
Because I remember when that
Is this on Puck
happened.
Dooku?
I remember when that happened. People were like, "Oh no,
Yeah.
Kevin better call his father-in-law to help save him."
That's
Get
right.
revenge. Yeah,
Wow.
Kevin Westgarth is Bill Cowher's son-in-law.
I also remember,
Interesting.
and maybe I bet Larry in the chat might know this. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Christoph Olawa. It was some up-and-coming NHL enforcer. Wanted to fight Probert, as they all did.
Oh yeah.
They all wanted to fight Probert, right? It was like how they would earn their spot on the team. And I think towards the end of the career, Probert was like, all right,
yeah.
here we go.
Have to do it.
So he fought whoever this kid was, predictably whipped his ass. And the kid was so proud to have been pummeled by Bob Probert. He was like grinning ear to ear, covered in blood, leaving the ice. Like, wow, what a cool moment. Bob Probert just kicked my ass.
I mean, it's something you tell his kids.
Yeah. There's also one, David Kochi. Remember him? He was on the Hawks for a while. Big, bald goon.
Yeah.
Not very good at all, but he was on another team, and Probert fought him, and Probert uppercutted him, and Kochi's helmet like went up in the air. Boom, like a pop top. Yeah, there were some good Probert fights. I know he's renowned for his Detroit fights, and they were much better and much more violent and a little more unhinged back then.
Yeah, the Bob Probert Ty Domi fights are
Yeah.
they're WrestleMania worthy. Like,
Yeah, but he had a handful of really legendary fights as a Hawk. And AJ says Scott Parker versus Bob Probert. Probert wins and Parker wouldn't let go after the fight. Yeah, that Scott Parker, that's another dude, man. He was scary.
No.
yeah, I can't think of too many off the top of my head on the spot like that. But
One I remember that happened last season in the AHL was Alex Vlasic ragdolling Christian Reichel, Lucas
Yeah.
Reichel's
Oh,
cousin.
yeah.
yeah, well, that's when you got that kind of size advantage. you
Yeah,
can
it
do
was,
that.
he's a big boy. Wouldn't fight
Got
him.
that reach.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of guys that, think that, okay, my teammate's down, I'm going to jump in. Like, there were some fights where I was like, Alex DeBrincat, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
He jumped in
He
a
fought.
few times.
Who did he fight? Was it Yanni Gord? Was that
Yeah,
DeBrincat and
sounds
Yanni
right,
Gord?
Yeah, and that's
It was like
something he shouldn't have done.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I wouldn't do that.
Anytime he dropped the fight, anytime Jonathan Taves dropped the glove, I was like, what are you doing?
I remember
dude?
Taves fighting Backus, David Backus, and being like, ugh.
Yeah, or
Don't do that.
when he dropped the gloves against Thornton, I was like, you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Let Adam Burrish do that for you.
Yeah.
Or Ben
Remember
Eager.
when Panarin fought
Yeah.
and like whooped somebody's
Yeah,
ass?
but Panarin is like a world-class boxer. Like,
Yeah.
he does all that hardcore boxing.
Panarin
I
with
wouldn't
the
mess
Hawks?
Yeah.
Because he fought. Because I think of the Tom Wilson in Panarin recently,
Yeah.
where he got like dragged down and almost got his head slammed on the ice.
Yeah, Panarin fought
But-
Scotty Upshaw
That's a good guy to
Oh,
fight.
I
in
remember
2016
that.
and took it to him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
That was one.
I'm
That was
watching
that
it
was
now.
early game, wasn't it? Wasn't that like a
November 9th,
Yeah, it was
2016.
one of- yeah,
That was one of his
earlier.
first
Yeah.
handful of games.
Yeah. It's-
One of my favorites too was Rona came back to Chicago. I think he might have been in Philly at the time, maybe not. And he fought Mark Bell
Yeah.
as a Hawk, and Bell kind of kicked his ass. And it was kind of a this was at the time when we all thought that the ABC line was going to be the next big thing, and these guys were all going to be stars.
Speaking about things we were wrong.
Yeah, so it had a feel of like an arrival.
Yeah.
With Roenick getting his ass kicked at the United Center, but it was not meant to be. But I remember that one pretty vividly too. We got time for maybe 2 more before we wrap up, and
Okay.
yeah,
A lot of fun ones
Save
left.
the rest for tomorrow. Yeah, let's do a couple fun
A lot
ones.
of fun ones left on the docket from Jeff
fun.
Maroon, and there was another question about this too from. I'll get to the second one. What is your go-to food concession purchase at the UC? That's from Jeff, and then Todd also asking about that. Todd Welter.
That's food
Those
item.
burnt ends and those chicken sandwiches are really, really good if you're in the concession
Yeah.
line. I mean, I can't remember the name of the place, but burnt ends.
The
and
chicken sandwich is honey butter chicken, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Do
Yeah.
they still have the
So good.
Sweet Baby Rays on the 100 level? That was my go-to for a while when I had season tickets.
Can't remember.
I haven't bought concession stand food at the United Center for a while.
Yeah.
There's a place in
There's
the
a-
300
there
level
was
that
a
had like the
Manny's
steak
Deli-
sandwiches too. Like it's at one of the ends. I call it like the stage now. It looks like you're backstage in that area.
The 200 level has the best food.
Oh yeah, of course.
They've got a Manny's Deli
Where
up
the
there.
cake
Oh,
eaters
yeah,
sit.
that's it. Yeah.
I think there's a girl and a goat up there too.
Yeah.
The 5-star tacos are good.
Yeah, those are good.
There's a lot of good options, but the hot
Big star.
turkey sandwich with barbecue sauce and the fries from Sweet Baby Ray's was my go-to.
Those are great. And then someone asked about the media room,
It's the gummy bears.
the Mark Bergevin infested gummy bears.
Gummy bears. Or the tomato basil soup
That-
is phenomenal.
That chicken tortilla soup they make is so good.
Yeah.
You
That
got to
one's-
get
that
there
one's
before
really good.
John Weideman, though.
Yeah.
One of these
Otherwise,
soup-
otherwise
Dude's got
it's
like
gone.
4 cups of soup before
I
the
love
game
John. He's
He
so
comes with,
great.
like the
but
big thermos.
He is like he lives for soup.
He's on the
Lives for soup, that guy. So you got to get there before he hits
Good
it.
for the voice.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you see Kevin, if you see Mark Bergevin circling the press box,
Yeah.
get those gummy bears quick because he's a barehander.
Yeah.
He just
geez.
reaches the
I
palm
saw- I
right
saw
into the
with my
jar
own
and
two
just
eyes.
grabs
Nasty.
them.
in front of everybody in the middle of in an intermission. He wasn't
front
like
of God
sneaking.
and
He just
everyone.
like opened it up and put his big giant bear claw in there, and I was
Like he owns the place. It's his.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm out. I'm waiting.
No gummy bears tonight.
Yeah, I thankfully had probably 2 or 3
Yeah.
cups by that point, but yeah,
Yeah, the tomato bisque soup is
yeah, that's my
very
favorite
good.
of the soups.
Very good. It was hyped up when we first started covering the team regularly, and it has lived up to the hype
Yes,
for
they
sure.
they could do without the broccoli cheddar.
But I was wrong. It was not David Kochi. Kochi was
I like the broccoli
after
cheddar.
Bob Probert retired. I don't remember who it was, but he whooped somebody's ass. That's what matters.
There you go. One more.
Let's do one more
Over
before we
a
wrap
bowl of
up.
soup.
All
probably.
right, let's do like this one. Let's hear some embarrassing stories from your youth sports
yeah.
days from Anthony Ereth.
This could-
Wonderful.
This could be a whole episode.
Whole show. Yeah.
I don't have that many embarrassing stories. I just was never very good at any of the sports I played.
Yeah.
I was fine. I just was never a star. So I'm
Yeah.
sure I struck out in a bad situation before of a pitch over my head, but nothing
Does
really.
does being at a school roller party count? A roller rink party?
That's an athletic event.
All right. So I'll tell the story. There was this girl I had a huge crush on, and I spent the entire skating party just skating around, working up the nerve to ask her out. I finally get the guts to do it. So I literally turn around and go against traffic and skate towards her because I'm like, I've got the nerve to do it. As I get maybe 10 feet from her, my legs come up from under me. I go airborne, flat on my back. So I'm laying on the ground of the roller rink, looking up at the sky, and I see her skate by and just look at me in the eyes as she skates by.
Oof.
It's all right. Worked out eventually.
Hey, all right.
A couple years later. But in the moment, it was not great.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, it was
tough.
not great.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Gosh, the one that comes to mind is my first year of Little League Baseball. I did not get a hit all season. I couldn't put the ball in play like whatsoever. Only way I got on base was either walks or I would get hit by a pitch.
Yeah, lean into one.
That
Take
was-
one for the team.
that
Sounds
was
like most of my little league
all that
career.
I could do. Like I got so excited when I'd hit like a foul ball. I'd be like, oh, I actually hit the ball. Like it was, yeah. First year Little League, very rough for me.
Yeah, I had one moment of glory that was quickly taken away because in Little League, the age group that actually goes to the Little League World Series, our team had like the serious coach. which was great because I learned so much in those 2 years playing for him about the game of baseball, and we whooped everybody's ass because we knew what to do when, we knew every situation. But it was a playoff game. There was a fly ball hit to me in right field. I caught it. The guy at second base was tagging going for third, and I overshot the cutoff man. I threw a one-bounce strike right to third base and got him. End the inning. We were up by a run. Everybody's going crazy. The coach is like, Boysen, great throw. Hit the cutoff man next time. I was like, oh, but come on. He's out.
I knew I had him.
That was the throw of my life. And he was like, you didn't do what you were supposed to do. I was like, damn it. That's my most memorable
Hey, that's pretty good.
Little League thing. And had he never yelled at me for not hitting the cutoff man, I probably would have long forgotten about that play.
You'd probably be in the major leagues by now.
Probably.
Yeah.
If I would learn to hit the cutoff man, I'd be in the majors, yes.
Yep.
Broke
Instead,
my
you're
arm at an open gym one time. That
Broke your
sucked.
what?
What's
Broke my
that?
arm at an open gym in a gymnastics center. Tried to jump over a barrel. Landed in it ass first. The barrel fell over, and I broke my arm. In front of a bunch of gymnasts that were
That's,
all doing it. I'm like, I could do that.
that's
Narrator.
rough.
Yeah.
Could not do that.
Yeah, don't try that.
Yeah.
Nice job, Mario.
Well, instead of being a major league player, Greg, you're now
Video game
telling
guy.
folks about FOCO. You could look like a major league player.
I think Mario.
Can I tell him about Foco?
Mario,
Oh, I thought
I'm
Greg was
past-
doing FOCO. I'm sorry.
I got my usual bit.
He's
here.
got sunglasses.
Oh, you had
to,
sunglasses. That
Got
too.
sunglasses to pedal on the
Speaking
people.
about embarrassing, jeez, way to screw up the reads.
Yeah, hey, Foco, they are the best when it comes to getting fitted out in the best gear around. Stuff you can wear, stuff you can put on your desk or on the set of a sports podcast. Foco has you covered. Hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, everything in between. We are deep into baseball season, and there's still enough summer left to get your Aloha shirts, your straw hats, team-branded polos, bags, everything you need for the game. Like I said, our set decorations, a lot of them came from our friends at Foco, and getting geared up for the hockey season, you're going to need some updated bobbleheads because the old Blackhawks are gone. The new ones are coming in. Foco has you covered there. You can check out everything that they have at foco.com, or you can click the link in the description below. And when you do, use the promo code CHGO, and for all non-presale items, you're going to get 10% off your order. Again, that's the promo code CHGO when you go to foco.com.
And the best accessory to wear while you're rocking your awesome sports merchandise
Spurch.
or your spurch
Merchandise.
from Foco is a pair of amazing premium Polaroid shades that you can get at an affordable price from our friends at Shady Rays. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've worn. I say they're the best darn sunglasses I've ever had, with their durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. That's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection of all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair even on day one, they told us they're going to send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. You can wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they've got your back long after you purchase. And together with their customers, Shady Rays is providing much-needed support to nonprofit partners across the U.S. through Shady Rays Impact. From building play sets to pediatric cancer patients to providing young adults with MS the outdoor adventure of a lifetime, Shady Rays is making an impact in your community and others like it now and for years to come. And if you don't love your Shady Rays, but you're no weirdos out there, CHGO listeners, so you will love your Shady Rays. But just in case you don't, you can exchange them for a brand new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. And maybe you've heard about this. It's the best deal of the season. Go to ShadyRays.com. Use the promo code CHGO for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. That's buy one, get one free, according to my math.
That's
I
a
think
good
that's
deal.
correct.
The more you buy, the more you save. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. That number has got to be going up.
My wife just got her new Shady Rays, and she looks great in them, and she loves them, so really good stuff. Pick those up. By the way, while you were doing the read, I went on Foco and I looked up Connor Bedard to see if they had anything new. Friendship bracelets, 3-pack. You one that says, I love Blackhawks, one that says, I love Chicago, then it says Bedard 98. So there you
Sweet.
go. Get some friendship bracelets at Foco.
I think we need to order 3 sets of those.
There's
In
one
my
for each
cart
of you guys.
right
I
now.
agree.
Are they non-presale?
I don't think so.
We can get 10% off.
You can get 10% off
Yeah.
with the promo code
Oh,
CHGO.
let me look again. I
Free
think they're-
shipping, too.
I They're just ready to go,
Awesome.
buddies.
All
Oh,
right.
no, it says pre-order. All right, wait a little bit, and then you'll save on them.
All right.
Sweet.
But yeah, and I'm sure we'll be seeing plenty of Connor Bedard merch as the weeks and years go on.
Absolutely.
All right, we've got a ton more questions to get to tomorrow. Kevin's going to save those for us. Also, at 2:30, we're going to talk to Chris Peters about all things Blackhawks prospects and World Junior Championships and all the fun stuff coming up over the next few months. So we'll talk to you then. Make sure you are subscribed. Leave a review for us on the podcast apps. Smash that like button on your way out, and make sure you're subscribed to the podcast and the YouTube as well. And we'll talk to you tomorrow at 2 on the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast.